Inside info, the real reason Selwyn Cobbo was forced out of the Broncos. What if the brightest comet in Queensland Rugby League wasn't let go because he burned too bright, but because the club was terrified of what would happen when the people finally saw the scars he was hiding beneath the smile? October 31st, 2025, a quiet corner of Suncorp Stadium's inner sanctum, long after the last fan had left and the lights dimmed to twilight. Selwyn Cobbo sits on the physio bed, ice taped to both knees, staring at the Indigenous mural painted above the door, the one that features his own face alongside legends like Arthur Beetson and Steve Renouf. Kevin Walters stands in the doorway, arms folded so tight the veins stand out like rivers on a map. Between them hangs the unspoken truth. Tomorrow, the Broncos will announce Selwyn is exploring opportunities elsewhere. The room already feels empty. Please like, share, and subscribe for more sport talk content. It wasn't form. Cobbo had just produced the finest season of his life. 24 tries, Dally M. Winger of the Year, the match-winning assist in the preliminary final. It wasn't money. He was on less than half of what rival clubs were quietly offering. It was a single sentence spoken in confidence to the club psychologist 3 weeks earlier, a sentence that leaked to the board like poison. Some nights, I don't want to wake up for training because I'm scared I'll let the mob down again. The turning point comes the next morning in the Red Hill boardroom. CEO Dave Donaghy lays a manila folder on the mahogany table. Inside, medical reports, welfare check-ins, a letter from Selwyn's grandmother in Cherbourg begging the club to send him home before the game takes him like it took others. The room falls silent. They speak of duty of care, of risk, of headlines none of them want. Then someone says the words no one can unsay. We can't carry that liability anymore. Selwyn Cobbo, the boy they called their future, is gently, lovingly pushed out the door. That night he drives north alone. No music, just the hum of the Bruce Highway and the weight of 1,000 expectations in the passenger seat. At 2 a.m., he pulls over near Gympie, walks into the bush, and screams into the darkness until his voice cracks. A lone kangaroo watches, unmoved. When he returns to the car, he records a 30-second voice note to his little cousin back in Cherbourg. I'm coming home, bud. The big lights got too heavy, but I'm still your Selwyn. By sunrise, the announcement drops. Mutual decision, best for both parties, welfare first. Brisbane wakes to a city in mourning. Indigenous flags fly at half-mast outside Red Hill. Grandmothers who never miss a game sit on front verandas and weep without sound. Children remove number 7 stickers from their bedroom walls, not in anger, but in sorrow. Social media becomes a sacred space. Send him home trends alongside Thank You Selwyn. Elders post old footage of a barefoot kid in Cherbourg outrunning grown men, reminding the world where the magic was born. A viral video shows Selwyn reading books to kids at the PCYC the week before, laughing the laugh that once lit Suncorp like fireworks. Underneath, 10,000 comments. We failed you, King. In living rooms from Thursday Island to Tweed Heads, families who measure time by state of origin hold their own sons a little tighter. One father turns to his boy and says, "See that? Even the fastest can break if we don't catch them soon enough." The deeper truth surfaces slowly. The Broncos didn't release Selwyn Cobbo because he was broken. They released him because they finally admitted the game itself had been breaking him. Piece by brilliant piece, and they didn't know how to stop it. What does it cost to be the chosen one of an entire people? To carry a culture on shoulders still learning how to carry themselves? Selwyn's exit is not a failure of talent. It is the game's quiet confession that sometimes love looks like letting go. In an era of highlight reels and hashtag heroes, Cobbo's departure is the most honest story rugby league has told in years. Greatness is fragile, and the strongest thing a club can do is recognize when the jumper becomes a shroud. Weeks later, back on Cherbourg soil, barefoot again, Selwyn finally speaks. The community has gathered under the same fig tree where he learned to pass a Steeden before he could spell his name. I thought leaving would feel like dying, he says, voice soft, steady. Turns out it felt like breathing for the first time in years. The Broncos didn't give up on me. They gave me back to my mob, and that's the greatest assist they ever threw. He looks at the kids circling him now, eyes wide with the same hope he once carried. Pressure isn't the crowd screaming your name. Pressure is being scared that if you fall, you take your whole people with you. I'm not running from the game. I'm running toward healing. When I'm ready, the game will still be there. But my spirit needed country more than it needed contracts. His grandmother, tiny but towering, adds only, "We never lost our boy. The city just borrowed him for a while. Now he's home." Selwyn Cobbo didn't leave the Broncos. He was returned, gently, painfully, lovingly, to the earth that grew him. And somewhere in the red dirt of Cherbourg, under a sky big enough to hold every dream he hasn't dared yet, a young man learns that the greatest try he'll ever score won't be under stadium lights, but in the quiet space where a broken heart remembers how to beat for itself again. That is the homecoming no salary cap can measure. That is the legacy no highlight reel will ever capture. That, above all, is why we will tell our children the story of the boy who flew too close to the sun and was caught at last by the arms that were always waiting.